Delta depth at 5. No, no nav. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Roger.
No? Yeah. Where's Hercules? Stand by. Just having a nav issue, but. Okay, nav's all set. Are you guys ready? Okay, we are all good to go. Thanks for the guidance, Mike.
Roger.
Roger.
Hauling it at 15 meters per minute. Roger.
All right. Hi, everyone who's joining us. This is our
50 meters.
6th dive. Is that right, Taylor Ann?
Yep. Our
6th?
sixth and final dive. Yep. Yep. Our 6th and final dive of this cruise.
So funny. I totally can't hear you.
Really?
I mean, it's coming through, but it's so
Okay.
soft.
Okay.
Thanks.
I am very soft talker.
Yeah.
Yes. Supersize it? Oh, the screen. Good? Just kidding.
Taylor, you want to talk us through what our game plan is?
Yeah, sure. So once we get down to the seafloor, we're going to go to the cores that we placed, I don't even know how many days ago it was now, a few dives ago.
Yeah.
It's all one day.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to retrieve those 6 cores safely. And we're also going to try to have the
Mike,
lights
the
on the vehicles
depth
as
is
low as
at,
possible because
7
we're trying
almost.
to collect measurements for the PAR sampler, I believe.
And the heading
And
is
what's
we're
a
also
PAR
going to be doing
sensor?
that. So it's a sensor. I'm not too actually sure exactly how it works, but we're trying to make sure that there is no light reaching at the depth that we're going to. So we're going to go all the way down there and turn all the lights off for like 15 minutes and see what the sensor picks up.
Randy, what's your sub-bottom display range at?
It's at 200 meters.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Yep, stabilized. Pretty. Roger. Okay, I'll increase mine to 25.
So if you're watching at home, channel 1 is going to be your Hercules view, channel 2 is going to be a view from Argus, and channel 3 is the control van, where we're all sitting on board EV Nautilus. And I'd love to answer your questions as they come in, so let us know.
29, roger.
what you are curious about as we head on down to the seafloor. This dive is slated to be 4 hours long. Question mark, but I believe that's true. Yes, 4 hours, 575 meters.
Roger.
Yeah, I take all of those notes as well. Yeah, and I logged it as 8156 is in water. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I'm lagging behind a little. All right, ping out at 28. Delta depth is slightly increasing a little. Got it. Roger.
That appears to be 56. This one, this is the new one.
The one page, or yeah.
575, yeah.
Roger. Delta depth is at 10.
Hey, Rennie, question for you. Are we working off of any of our mapping data here on this expedition, or did they bring it with them?
Yeah, actually, we mapped this area. There was a prominent landslide feature that we mapped. So this is on the edges of that. We're not actually on the landslide itself. Mudslide, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, but this happens to be where where we had some good mapping data. But it's relatively flat. Just a gentle slope.
When was the mudslide? When did we do the mapping?
I want to say 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure that's when the actual event happened. But I believe that it happened recent enough that they wanted us to map it right away. So I think it was shortly before we mapped it was the event. So Mike, I'm going to move you a bit off because it looks like Herc will be coming close to the Abyss lander. So I'm just going to step the ship over. Yeah, we don't land on it. That'll complicate things. Bridge nav. Can we have a step 20 meters bearing 270?
Mike, would you like the salvo?
Thank
Change
you.
to dive.
Hey, Mike, are you on SPL?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't. I should be now.
Thank you.
Having a party on his own.
Mike, permission to look at gauges for Herc?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Rennie, how are we going to go find these cores that we're after? You want to talk us through that?
Sure. Well, the cores are pretty flush to the ground, but we have subsea acoustic positioning that we use to know where the vehicles are. And so we knew where the vehicles were when we put them down, and we know where the vehicles are now. So we just need to go return to those, to our known target where we left them. You're not going to let me get away with just that short description, are you?
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Tried. We use acoustics, so we emit sound into the water, and then basically we have someone that's an instrument that talks and an instrument that listens. And so we use time of flight through the water and combine that with the speed of sound through the particular water that we're working in to know something about the distance to where that, we call them transponder beacons, where that beacon emitted sound. So now we know the distance and we know the bearing, so where it is in relation to the listener, because that listener actually has a small array, triangular array of receivers. So it uses minor shifts in the phase shifts in the frequency of how it listens, and based on the way each of those individual members of the array listened, it can assess, it can kind of triangulate where the sound came from. So now we have our distance, we have our bearing,
What's
and
that?
then we know where that sound
Why
is
it
emitted
so
in
low?
relation to the ship.
Check it again.
What's a phase shift?
Just like the wavelength will be slightly off.
Just keep it there.
Depending on where you're listening to it. So one transceiver unit, the transceiver unit has 3 transducers in it. And so just the distance, the physical distance between those units will hear the wavelength that's slightly differently. It'll be slightly off. And so it uses that slight shift in the wavelength to know where it's coming from.
What is the frequency that we ping the vehicles at? Can you hear it?
You can hear it on deck.
Do you want to demonstrate it for us?
This particular unit has available frequencies between 19 kilohertz and 34 kilohertz. So some of those upper ones are beyond human hearing, but there may be a harmonic or some element of it that is you're able to hear.
Why would you pick one of those versus the other?
You might, it depends on resolution or distance. So lower frequencies will go farther. Higher frequencies will have higher resolution.
So if we were diving vehicles like farther away than we dive our vehicles, would we want to change?
The limitations of the system, I for the most part, because our vehicles are directly beneath us, they're not far away, you would want, that entire sweep will be mostly fine. The reason why we would change the frequencies could be because of noise on the vehicles that prevent it from listening properly, prevent that transponder unit from listening properly.
Gotcha. Viewer wants to know if there was something really big, like a big whale or a submarine that got in between us and the ROVs, would it distort our positioning?
What's that?
I don't think so.
That's
How big?
me.
Not those
That
sizes.
target in yours, that's
Okay.
Herc, and that's Argus, because they're like this, right?
Yeah.
Submarine possibly because it has air in it.
Okay.
Significant. But no, I don't think so. Not if it got very close to the transceiver, so if it was close to the ship that's listening, then yes, it would occlude it. But somewhere in between, I don't think would matter as much. It's a good question, though. I don't really know the
We're
answer
at
to
375 now, so we should start seeing this, but it's so soft. Might take a while for it to come in.
Roger.
All right, Mike, so Hercules is about 40 meters west of the Abyss lander.
Okay.
See the return.
All right, viewer wants to know, we'll do a fast zoom around the room. What's the most exciting thing? They wrote that you personally have discovered, but, you know, exploration is a team sport. So maybe what is your favorite Nautilus moment of discovery? 5. Taylor Ann, you start. One of your favorites.
Keep an eye on it.
I have the obvious favorite of the whale fall, since that was my first season out. It was pretty cool to wake up and see everyone all excited, looking at the screens, watching, and to actually get to hold the bones of that whale and process some of the worms that I think ended up being like a different new species of Ossidax worm. It was pretty cool. So yeah, probably that's my highlight for sure. so far.
That's a really good one. Rennie?
Highlight what for
Yeah, what's one
forever?
of what? Yeah,
Any of them?
any of them.
Probably the deep staria jellies. I really like those. We actually saw the third one that Hercules has seen on shakedown cruise
Oh, awesome.
midwater, but we were zooming past it.
Solid choice. Mike, do you have a favorite discovery moment?
I don't know. I really liked, might have been the first day I was out here. It was definitely the first cruise to Coast Trader wreck.
Oh yeah, I was on that one. That was good.
And the whale, I think Jess and I did the bulk of that. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the octopus garden was really cool. That's 3. That's enough.
That is 3, yeah. Solid. Randy, what's your favorite discovery you've been part of so far?
Well, so far, I haven't been on much, but it's my first cruise. I would say the coring was pretty interesting. Just looking at how herc and how hard it is to actually core, especially with a certain sediment like with full of water. It's pretty tricky, and I think maybe that would be the highlight of my trip so far. The effort it takes.
Yeah, the Jello seafloor really blew my mind. All right, Jeff, favorite?
Okay, we're 100
I
meters
don't know if I have a
off now.
favorite.
So soon,
I haven't seen a lot. So.
You can pick a
start to
bouquet
see
of
this
favorites like
reporting
Mike.
on my altimeter. Later, you'll see it in yours.
No discoveries, but certainly going out and looking for Amelia was fun, entertaining, interesting. Waking up in the middle of nowhere, trying to find an airplane.
Yeah.
Finding what?
Yeah,
The search for Amelia.
Yeah, search for
Yeah.
Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time looking for
So
airplane
you're here,
parts.
right?
A lot of mapping the reef front.
A lot of what?
Said a lot of mapping the reef front.
Oh, yes. Otherwise, sorry. We'll give Mike the award for, although Randy's
Where is, oh, bubbles on the gauge. Okay, keep it there. It's fine.
Nova, Jeff took your answer. Or unless you can change it. What's one of your favorites?
I was going to say, Expedition Amelia was, it's hard to beat that one.
Yeah.
I also have been enjoying seeing the soulfish that we saw at the bottom yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of funky looking. So
Yeah, they're almost purple. I like,
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
I love their little eyes just on the side of their head.
We're going to stop at 30. Yeah, so you should probably get that bar out of there right around now.
Roger.
Jenny, do you have a favorite Nautilus Live discovery or a favorite moment from this expedition
Kylie,
so
we're
far?
going to stop up in 30 meters and just hand it off
From this
to you
expedition, I think seeing the big,
So see, I got
thick
50
mat
meters on
get
here.
picked
50
up by
meters.
the scoop this
Yeah,
afternoon
53,
and
yeah.
how it looked like
Catches that.
tiramisu.
That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to kind of see it in the core and realize there's those layers, but how well it
Yeah,
sort of
it hung together.
hung together was
Yep.
awesome. What do you most want to see today? So we have this final dive. What are you looking forward to on the plan?
Well, today or right now on this dive, we're recovering some
Nice.
cores that we left in
All right,
place
approaching
that
30.
were
Roger.
injected with a tracer
Okay.
to measure
Okay, I'll stop there.
activities.
Roger.
And so hopefully what I'm looking for is that we successfully recover
Is,
those
Bob's
cores.
not up here yet, is he?
Do you want to talk us through a little more about
Coming
what
out
the
of Auto
tracer will show
Iris.
us?
Okay.
What the what?
What the tracer will show
Alright,
us?
you guys can either switch
Yes,
or whatever
the
you wanna do.
the tracer is labeled bicarbonate. Okay, so it's looking for uptake of labeled CO2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What's that? I'm just holding it.
Nautilus fans, you will the video will look a little unusual as we get down to the seafloor because we're going to turn lights down low and kind of sneak up
Well,
on
I'm just holding for
these
a second
cores.
until Kylie gets in the seat.
Jenny, do you want to explain why the light impacts them?
Yes. So really, so if primary production is occurring,
but
okay,
I haven't seen it go
then
down. I think it's just
it's
like
very
right
sensitive to
deck,
light
like
levels,
after we
and we want to
12
see
and a
what
half.
types of primary production are going on, if it is, and we don't want to expose these cores unnecessarily to light at this point.
Hey, science video. We had done some tests on some previous dives with low light and been fairly successful, including operating using only the lights from Argus. So we're going to probably try that for your low light evolution.
Right. I think the first thing that we should do when we reach the seafloor is stay away from the cores for just a little bit and do the PAR.
Okay.
The
Bob doesn't
first
have his
PAR
headset
test
on, so you'll need to repeat that, but
that
makes sense. Channel 2 is Argus. We are on an alternative camera right now while we're doing some troubleshooting. So if you're seeing that view, that is not the standard Argus view, you're right. And it is not the permanent Argus view. So just some troubleshooting for this particular dive.
That's our tertiary.
Tertiary,
Argus.
yeah. The backup to the backup.
Science, I know you had just mentioned what you ideally would like to do when you got to the bottom. Could you just repeat that?
Yeah, Bob? So when we get to the bottom, we don't want to leave the bottom until 7:30. And so we want to do a PAR measurement just before that. And we don't want to have Herc's lights shining on these samples for very long. Yeah. So I think the first thing that we should do when we get to the bottom is do a 15-minute PAR.
Okay.
With lights off.
Roger.
Okay, and if we set down, a tiny distance from the cores, then we don't have to.
You want the PAR sensor on the whole dive, or?
No, just during the test.
Okay. You have to remember
or turn it on just before the test so that we can see the step down.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Hey Bob, we were doing some low light tests on the last dive, and we were able to work with just the Argus lights, no Herc lights, and adjust the camera.
Yeah.
So maybe when we go down to start the PAR, if we take the Herc lights off first, and I can show you what I'm talking about. And then Tammy can execute.
He may need more light to actually pick up the cores, but
yeah.
I have a question for Joan, and so I'm going to run downstairs. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Data Lab.
Watch change it video.
Are we going down?
No.
No.
Well, I am. But
well, I'm going down too then.
What? No.
Okay.
No.
Yep. I'll bring it up.
I'm going to
Thanks.
get under.
Okay.
Bob, if you have a moment, do you mind just powering on the Norbit, please?
Orbit.
Thank you. Data Lab nav, the Norbit's powered on.
Okay, Kylie, you can come down a little bit and then spin around and look at me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Norbit. What's the ground? It's Norbit.
Lame. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's go on down. Going down.
Yeah.
Can you see me yet?
No, I'm turning. I'm thinking about the res.
Okay, so I did talk to Joan, and she agrees. So when we get down, we want to basically stay away from the cores until we're ready to pick them up, and that will be the last thing we do before we leave the bottom at 7:30.
Okay, so to give you just we're 131 meters
right, so
away from those cores.
All right, so if we do a par now for 15 minutes, then we're going to have some free time before it's time to do the second par test. All right, we want to do it twice, and that should be right before you decide it's time to go pick up the cores. You've got 5 cores to pick up.
Okay, it's going to take us, if we travel at between 0.1 and 0.2 knots, it's going to take us about 20 minutes to get
to the cores.
From this
So,
current
yeah,
location.
I don't have, so we can calculate how much time or what you would like to do, take some photos, snoop around, as long as we stay away from the cores. And we just have to decide what time do you want to arrive at the cores. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah.
How much time do you think you want to allot
for doing the cores?
For picking up the cores.
Well,
hard to say, right?
Yeah, I don't know, 15 minutes or
15
something?
minutes, so 15. So, and we want to do we're going to do a par here, okay, and then we can do anything we want until 6:30, when we would do a second par, so that we get a par at basically 2 different times. Okay, so at 6:30 we do a second 15-minute par test, and then we start heading to the cores.
Right.
So that would bring us to 6:45, and then 20 minutes to get over, 6:35, and then collecting, and then it would be like 7.
We want to leave the bottom at 7:30.
Want to leave the bottom at 7:30.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of time here after this first par test to do something. Okay.
So I know that K2 was trying to get some just like moving around data with Norbit on. It doesn't matter where that is. So if there's a gap and that's something, and we're looking for something to do.
That sounds like a good idea. We just have to, wherever we tootle around, just stay away from the cores, just to keep them away from the light.
Okay. Whenever I'm doing dinner relief right now, but whenever I get off, I will go down and talk to K2 about that, and then come back up and let whoever's here know.
Okay. Look at that beautiful mat.
Yeah. Did you log on bottom, Annie?
Thank you.
I think we both forgot. I was distracted in the conversation.
I was just like watching the bottom, wondering when we were going to land. Are we going to land on the bottom, Bob?
We'll just call that
well, I guess.
We want to be close to the bottom during the par test.
Yeah.
We're 2 meters off the bottom.
Yeah, we want to be a little closer.
Yeah, we're not ballasted very well.
Floaty.
Well, no, it's just bouncy because, yeah, we're too light.
Yeah.
So
Floaty.
auto altitude's horrible.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well,
What's the ground fault on Herc?
that is the Norbit.
Norbit. Oh, Norbit's on now. Okay.
Norbit is a permanent ground fault by design. Okay.
There you go. Okay. Sounds good. Did you want...
Are we out of auto XY?
Yes.
May I do a DVL reset?
Yes. Certainly. Okay, Tammy, you want to zoom in and do your thing? Is that going to be okay?
I think so. We've been kind of doing it around there. All right, camera going black.
Bob, I have a question for Aaron or Rennie. Do you mind if I
Ooh.
go ask them?
Oh,
It did not take that. I'm going to have to go again.
Okay.
Camera going black.
Do I need to move or no?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I just hit my switch too quickly. All right. There we go.
No. This was the base? I'm doing 3 because I'm a pig.
All good, Bob.
Thank you.
One of these? No.
Hey, Rennie.
Those are
Rennie, can you come?
Dan's.
ROV and video, just let me know when you guys are ready and I can start logging PAR whenever you're ready for that.
You want? We got to turn all our.
1 minute.
Video is ready.